Hey guys, so gonna do something a little bit different today. We're going to be going over some, I want to say, basic kind of tips for Velvet Trials. I had a few people say, I was kind of asking for, ideas for videos because the rest of this patch was going to be kind of slow after my last Guild Boss video. Thankfully, we're getting close to the joint 2.1, 2.2 live stream on Sunday, which I will be doing a recap video for after that's finished airing. But beside that, there really wasn't much to cover this week. It's been fairly slow. So I tried to think of a way to do this Velvet Trials video in a way that I thought kind of wasn't just like, hey, do you have Queen? Then you can do the nuclear trials. You know what I mean? I haven't cleared all these yet. I've been kind of lazy, but like the nuclear winter one, because I have Fox and I have Queen, was pretty easy for me, to be honest. But if you don't have Fox and Queen, these could be really, really, really hard. So it's really dependent kind of on your account and what units you have. Obviously, the more units of each element that you have, the better. But I did want to just kind of go over some kind of random stuff that I've kind of picked up while I've been, while I've been doing these trials. And hopefully maybe you learned something that you didn't know or understand kind of a little like a mechanic a little bit better. If you're not really interested in that and you want to just wait till, the next one, feel free to click off. But to start off, I think we should kind of get into how is the score calculated, right? So let's get into this fight with like Belphegor, for example, right? If you look at Belphegor, so the way the scoring works in this, right, is obviously you probably know at this point. Everyone but Wonder, when they deal weakness damage or do an all-out attack, will get 6x score multiplier, right? So score is based on the HP of the boss. Like there's a set amount of points you can get from doing damage to the boss in a fight, and that's 6 times their max HP. That's if you only hit them for weakness damage, only hit them for non-wonder weakness damage, or non-wonder initiated all-out attack. Because I've seen some confusion on it, and I think some people maybe are like trying to, like, if Belphegor had 100 HP left, right? And On hit him for 1,000,000 damage, you would only get 600 points because it's a weakness and he had 100 HP left. That's it. You wouldn't get 1,000,000 points. You wouldn't get 6,000,000 points. You would just get 600 points. And that's important to know because in trials like this, especially if you only have like one unit type, like if you only had On here and you didn't have any other fire units, this becomes increasingly difficult because then you're kind of just stalling out with other characters. Because yes, you do get 700,000 points here from if you complete these two kind of like tasks, if you want to call them that. So winning in a certain amount of actions and having no units KO'd, you get 700 points right off the bat. I believe 3 stars for this one is 1.3 million. So you don't actually have to hit him for all weakness damage, but you have to make sure that if you think you're going to get the two kind of the point bonuses from achieving like those two goals, we'll call them on the side, you have to make sure that you're doing enough weakness and all-out damage, non-wonder, that you have enough points left in the bank. Like the boss has enough HP to give you enough points in the bank to even get to 3 stars. Because in theory, if you just did wonder damage here, or you just brought Queen here and you just killed the boss, you'd get 136,216 points plus the 750 if you achieve those two, and you'd probably get 1 or 2 stars. That's actually what I did before I had I just cleared all the floors with Queen and Fox, basically, is what I did, and just got the 1 star or no stars that you would get from just the 2 side missions here. So that's a strategy too, actually. If you can accumulate a lot of stars just kind of bringing like your really good units and maybe bring like if you have 1 fire unit, if you have Riddle built but you don't have any other Sai units, like you don't have Tomoko, or you have Tomoko but you don't have Riddle, you can bring like a Queen or something and just kind of use Riddle where you can and then kill the boss. Maybe you get 1 or 2 stars just off this. Is not a terrible strategy if you're struggling to like do this at all, really, right? And then here's something I just wanted to cover, playing off of the wonder damage thing. I actually didn't know this until this morning. I figured this out for the first time. I don't know if I'm just dumb. So in this scenario, right, I actually just learned this morning that if Wonder's not the one, I thought if Wonder was the one to initiate kind of the sequence of 1-mores that led to the all-out attack, that you wouldn't get the points. But it's only if Wonder's the one who is the last one to trigger, for the all-out attack. I don't know if that's obvious. It probably is obvious to everyone, and they're like, "You're dumb. How did you not recognize that?" Yeah, I agree. I don't know why. I don't know why in my head, like, I was like, "Oh, okay. Well, Wonder can't even like down a unit as long as Wonder's not the last one to go before the all-out attack. So as long as he's not the one who triggers the all-out attack, you'll be able to get the point multiplier for it." And next, I kind of want to go over something that I started doing today. This is a good option for like single target bosses. Not so much multi-target bosses, but like any single target boss that you're struggling to stay alive against, this could be a good strategy. It's this guy right here, Sandman. So everyone should have Sandman. He's like a pretty low-level persona, but He's got Dormina, which puts the enemy to sleep for 2 turns, but you're never going to get to 2 turns because they wake up when you hit them. But his passive, kind of at the 1 max out, which he's cheap to create, so you can max him out pretty easy, increases ailment accuracy 10.5% and sleep accuracy 50%. And then I just went ahead and put accuracy boost on him anyway. He's like a super cheap, super easy persona for single target ailment stuff. So like this is my team for like the top level electric boss, right? So I want you to see this guy attack, right? Like basically I would have absolutely no chance to survive any of this guy's attacks throughout this entire fight, right? But here, what you want to do here is you want to set, like in a fight like this, what I did is I made sure Wonder went last. That way I could let all my electric units attack him. We get the all-out attack, right? And then right before the end of the turn, you use Dormina and you put him to sleep so he can't attack. And so now Wonder's last. So this guy would normally use that God Hand to destroy me. Go ahead and use this. You get a little lucky, you put him to sleep. And now he can't attack. And you get to start it all over again this turn. And then for something like this fight where it's like multi-target. So on this fight where it was multiple enemies, if you wanted to try and do the same thing, but, you know, you're still struggling to survive because, you know, Sandman can only put 1 person to sleep every turn. And there's like 2 super strong bosses and both of them are killing you and you can't survive more than 2 turns. Here's where you'd want to go for someone like Scotty, who you probably saw in a lot of different creators' Trial of Thorns fights. Like I know Bear was using Scotty. I like to use Dizzy on Scotty just because it has a lower hit chance than like Forget. When they have Forget, they can still attack. And these guys do so much damage that I was like sometimes die anyway after a couple of hits of that. But I kind of built my Scotty for Dizzy because when they do get hit with Dizzy, for 2 turns, they basically just do nothing, which is really nice. They don't wake up when you hit them like Sleep. So this can be a really useful way to kind of cheese some of these too. And then I'm sure if you've watched any Velvet Trials videos, someone has told you that Wind is Wind is totally busted for these Velvet Trials. She makes him so much easier. If you have Wind for these, you almost have to bring her for a few reasons. Because this Plum Blossom Glory, right? She increases 1 more and all-out attack damage by 60%. And that's kind of where you're getting a lot of score from in this, right? Is these all-out attacks. You're doing a lot of your damage from all-out attacks just because you're usually using units that you might not have built as well just because they're the element that you need. And then the main thing that helps you out here is Wind makes it really easy to down enemies. So this insight thing, when she inflicts insight, which she's doing kind of all the time, kind of automatically, she's inflicting insight on people. When the target takes weakness damage on normal attacks, decrease down points by 1 and gain 1 intel stack. So you can kind of get 2 for 1 on down points when you're attacking weakness with her. So it makes it a lot easier. Like if you only have 1 unit or something of a type, it actually makes it a lot easier to try and coordinate where you're getting, you know, your all-out attacks from. But yeah, obviously, listen, there's nothing super crazy here. I don't have any like get-rich-quick scheme, you know, Velvet Trials edition. But just a couple of tips, like maybe stuff that people hadn't thought about. A lot of this is like, don't feel bad if you're like really struggling on Thunderous Blessing and you're like, I can't get past, you know, like the 10th stage or something. I can only get 1 star and everything. Why can't I do this? It's really just like, you're really dependent on what units you have, right? Like, if I didn't have Yui, there's not a chance I'd be able to do this. Maybe with Cord and Closer if I really like cheesed it and got lucky. But yeah, these are hard. Like, you basically need to have like every unit, and you need to have every unit built. And even then, you have to like cheese it on top of that. I didn't want to do any fights in here because it's kind of like I said, like what good does it do you if I just show you my nuclear fight when you don't have Queen, and I'm just running Queen and Vino and just blowing up the final boss in 2 turns? Like, that really doesn't do anything for you, right? But I would say if you're going into this, just as many units of that element that you have, bring them, try and use Wonder to like cheese out more all-out attacks. Use Wonder to cheese out status ailments on the boss so that they don't attack, so that you can survive. Don't be afraid to just bring like 2 of the element and then bring, you know, your best support to just constantly heal, and then use Wonder, like I said, to try and cheese status ailments. If you're struggling and you see people like are almost like fully cleared of it or already fully cleared of it, don't feel bad. It's just, it's what units you have a lot of this. So as more units come out, as you get more units, you'll progress in this. There's no real rush to finish this either. You know, it's kind of always going to be here. But yeah, so hopefully, you know, you got something useful out of this. If not, apologies, I'll be back on kind of the normal stuff. If you're confused on anything, let me know in the comments, and I'll try and answer as best I can. But otherwise, appreciate you watching. I'll be back on Sunday with a live stream recap. And after that, we will be back with, you know, Guild Boss, SOS Boss, event stuff, other news, whatever, once the new patch drops on Monday. So thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it. I'll see you on the next one, and have a good one.